Hey, I'm Annabelle, nurse, birth doula, and mama, and I'm here to build your confidence in birth. Today I'm talking about my best tips for pushing in labor, and I've got 3 of them for you, so make sure that you stick around to the end to get that 3rd tip. Also, make sure you subscribe to my channel and ring that bell to stay up to date to my latest content. All right, so pushing in labor. There's a lot that goes into it, but then it's also very simple because it really has to do with listening to your body, mama. I have another video where I really talk about listening to your body. It's much longer than this video is going to be, and I'm gonna link it in the YouTube cards above. So make sure you check that out after this video. My first big tip for you, it is a best tip, and it has to do with pushing when you have the urge. You're gonna get a lot of conflicting information on this specific topic, but the latest research shows that moms that really can listen to their bodies, when they have that urge, that's when it's best to push. Not that it's harmful to push before you get that urge, but we're talking about a marathon here. Pushing can take a very long time for first-time moms, and so are you gonna get exhausted if you're pushing before you have that urge? That urge comes when baby descends down into your pelvis and is in the correct position to press on some nerves in your body that tell your brain it's time to push. There is something where there shouldn't be something that's baby. Baby is somewhere where we need to get baby out. And so that urge is gonna come. Now, traditionally, with directed pushing, meaning that your nurses that are in your room or your birth coach or your doctor, whoever it is, directs you to push. They check your cervix, so they do a vaginal exam and see where your cervix is at. Is it open to complete, about 10 centimeters, or is it not? And traditionally, when the nurse or doctor would check your cervix, if you were complete, meaning about 10 centimeters, your cervix is open enough for baby's head to come through, then they would start directing you to push. But what we see through research and even just talking to other moms is that cervix might be open, but that doesn't mean mom has that urge because baby is not quite in the correct position to press on those nerves and tell you it's time to push. And so this can be detrimental to mom pushing and feeling like she is being successful in her journey. And so the cervix being complete is not directly related to that urge to push and the need to push yet. And on the opposite side of that, sometimes moms feel the urge to push and then the nurse or doctor checks your cervix and says, not yet, your cervix isn't complete yet. But again, research shows us that if mom is having that urge, then it is okay for her to start pushing. You are not going to damage your cervix as was once thought. What actually is happening is baby is descending and rotating in a way that is telling your body it's time to push. The cervix might not be completely open yet, but as you begin to push and help baby press more on your cervix, all of a sudden the cervix will say, okay, it's time to open more. There's a baby that it needs to come through. And so that pressure with you helping your body push will actually open up that cervix. So my number 1 best tip is to push when you have the urge, and this will help you be effective in your pushing journey. My second best tip is to get into a position that is effective for you. I'm not going to use the word comfortable here. I sometimes do, but the fact is labor is not really a comfortable event. But you do want to be in a position that is most comfortable and effective for you. If this means that you start pushing in one way, you don't have to stay in that position. If you feel like all of a sudden, okay, I don't feel like this is working for me, I don't feel this is effective, I need to change. So maybe it's hands and knees. That's how I really like to push with my most recent birth experience. Some moms are in bed on their backs with their legs up in the stirrups and they really have a hard time pushing in that way, but other moms say, nope, I pushed that way and it was okay for me. So find a way that is comfortable for you. So if you need to practice pushing while you're still in your pregnancy, I definitely recommend that. Try laying down in different positions, pulling your leg up, seeing, okay, what really works for me now? What could I feel comfortable doing in labor? And really start practicing different positions. But make sure when you're in labor, you don't just get in bed like the nurses are gonna tell you to if that's not comfortable for you. Say, I need to try something different, and I'm confident saying that this is what I need to do. Okay, before we move on to my best tip number 3, if you're finding this content valuable, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment in the comment section below about how you think you want to push in labor. What position do you want to try? Other mamas will find your comments valuable. Okay, tip number 3, my best tip number 3 has to do with breathing. I want you to make sure that you breathe while you're pushing. Now, this might seem crazy to you. Of course, I'm gonna breathe while I'm pushing, but with directed pushing, what we historically have seen nurses and physicians direct moms to push, that's called directed pushing, they have you take a deep breath in and then you push while you're holding your breath. You close your glottis and you don't breathe out while you're pushing. This was thought to help moms push more effectively, get baby out faster, but there were downfalls to pushing this way. It's very stressful on the body, it decreases oxygen to baby, and it really can cause a lot of capillaries to break in mom's face. And when mom's running this marathon, she's pushing for a couple of hours, it is just not effective. Mom cannot keep up the stamina of holding her breath for 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds during one contraction. It's just not effective. So my biggest tip, and you might run into some conflict with this with your nurses trying to direct you during your pushing, but really breathing out. I coach moms on this all the time, and it's a big hurdle that I want moms to get over, to start practicing breathing now so that when you are pushing, you know it's okay to breathe out. This is what my body needs to do. Think about when you go to the gym. If you go to the gym and lift weights and you're grunting and you're groaning and you're breathing out, you are not holding your breath. So how do you push? Your contraction starts, and you're gonna start to feel it, or you're gonna see it on the monitor if you are hooked up to continuous monitoring. That contraction starts to build. You take a deep cleansing breath, blow everything away, and then you take your deep breath, and then as you push, you're gonna blow all of your air out while you're tucking your chin and really just getting into that push. You wanna relax your body as much as possible so that after these couple hours of pushing, you are not sore, but you really wanna get into that pushing. You push like you're pooping, like you're having a bowel movement. I know this can sound very scary to moms. I'm not going to pretend that I'm pushing. I'm not going to pretend that I'm pooping while I'm pushing, because I might actually poop. And it's completely normal. Healthcare providers, nurses, doctors, we are all used to seeing a lot of poop during this experience, during this birthing process. It is completely normal. So you do want to push like you're pooping. You want to really tuck your chin, get into it, blow all of your air out, and push your baby out into this world. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of tips inside of this best tip. For one, you do not have to push with every contraction. Once you get to have this urge to push, if you need to take breaks between pushes, you can, and just let that contraction peak and go away and then reset for your next push. Now, your body is gonna continue to push. Your uterus is contracting, it means it's squeezing, and it is pushing your baby whether you are part of this or not. So take breaks if you need to take breaks. You also can push as many times as you want during a contraction. Like I said, historically during directed pushing, you would have a contraction begin and peak and then decline and go away. And during that one contraction, nurses would instruct moms to push 3 times during that one contraction. They would take a deep breath in, push while they're holding their breath, blow it all out, take a deep breath, push while they're holding their breath, blow it out, take a deep breath, push, blow it out, and then the contraction would go away. So that's 3 pushes, which means you're holding your breath for 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds of holding your breath during one contraction. This was directed pushing. And again, it is not seen as effective, and it can be very detrimental to your pushing experience, your memory of pushing, and just feel exhausted afterwards. So you don't have to push 3 times during one contraction. You can push 1 time, you can push 3 times, but make sure you're blowing that air out. You're not holding your breath during those pushes. And then my last tip inside of this best tip is that some nurses and doctors will instruct you to stop pushing at some point during your pushing experience, during that second stage of labor. And this usually happens when baby is crowning. Baby's head is just starting to exit your vagina. And what they are instructing you to stop, the reason they're instructing you to stop, is that they want to make sure that you're not blowing baby out like a cannonball, that you don't tear in a very dramatic way, and that you really have a safe experience birthing your baby. Now, the problem with directing moms to stop is that What does that mean exactly? You're having this amazing, overwhelming urge to push, and now all of a sudden I have to stop. What they're saying is something that a lot of moms already do naturally. It's just timing can be a little bit different. So a doctor or a nurse might say, stop pushing now, but you're already thinking, well, I kind of already had that desire to stop. And so this is where directing can get confusing, when to stop, when to go. So again, listen to your body as your baby's crowning and you start to feel this ring of fire is what we call it, a very burning, stinging sensation that's very quick, but it happens as baby's crowning. You are going to protect your body. Usually this means mom's legs are wide while she's pushing, and then as she has this burning sensation, moms will usually bring their knees together to protect their bodies. This is very natural. And so you alone will already tell yourself, okay, I need to kind of ease up on the pushing a little bit. I need to protect my body. Bring my legs together, not push as hard, as your body will gently start to birth your baby at this stage while baby's crowning. And then after baby's head has come out, then you can push again and help baby's body be born. And so this is very normal. So these are my other small tips on how to push inside of this big best tip of breathing while you push. So these are my 3 best tips for pushing during labor. I know these are gonna be helpful to you. Don't forget that I'm going to link in the YouTube cards above my other video on how to push effectively. So go check that out. I'll see you in the next video.